Yeah, it looks like that, don't it? Yeah. A long time ago, Eastwood Automotive Restoration used to sell this tool. As far as I understand, they don't sell it anymore because it's kind of been replaced by MIG welding. But I wanted to talk, and we're going to try to use this today. It's actually a spot welder. Yeah, spot welding is still technology that's still being used to this day. In fact, it has actually gotten really interesting applications, like they spot weld the bus bars on batteries for building, those lithium battery banks up for different power tools and cars, e-bikes, whatever. Yeah, that's all spot welded. So it's still a technology that's still used to this day. However, what we're looking at is more like an automotive kind of application here with this particular gun. The biggest problem with this thing right here is the tip, because this works in the opposite way that you would use a pew-pew. Yeah. You actually have the trigger back first before you place it on your two pieces of metal, release to hit the spot weld, and then pull it back. So it's basically, yeah, instead of hitting the trigger to fire it, you actually pull the trigger and you want to pull the spot weld off, because when you're spot welding, all you're doing is bringing, two nice heavy electrodes that are full of current and DC power together through for a second, and create that hot area that's going to be the spot where the two pieces of metal are going to weld together. But I'm going to try this out and just see how it works I've got some fairly heavy, I'm going to say around 14 gauge or so heavy metal here. And we're going to try to spot weld these two pieces together using the old Eastwood spot welder. And we'll see how all this works. This has been with me forever. In fact, it was actually purchased for a car that I haven't owned in over 20 years. So, yeah, 25 years, whatever. But it was a restoration project at the time. And I wanted a spot welder for putting together some of the panels and stuff, because for body work, spot welding is fantastic. Now, mind you, yes, it has been somewhat, offset by MIG welding. MIG welding offers that same kind of condition where you can put spot welding together. So it sort of does the same trick. But this is the old technology, the way it used to be from, in this case, Eastwood Automotive Restoration. I think they're up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I think that's where they're based out of. But they sell a lot of stuff. So, for rebuilding and resurfacing old cars and painting them and restoring and whatever. They're very, very cool company if you're into that sort of thing. We are going to try to spot weld today. And I'm going to use the Beaver stick welder to power this thing with, because it's DC, and that's one of the things about spot welding that was always used was heavy DC current to smack through to get the two metals to sort of melt together and create that weld. Hey, let's give it a shot. Well, we're outside. I've never done this before, so this should be real interesting. I've got everything set up. The welder is on, and so all I've got to do is pull the trigger back and set up. I've got the two metals together, one on top of the other right here. Okay, so let's give it a shot. Ooh. I don't know if that worked or not. Let's a little longer. All right, let's just stop for a second and take the magnets off and just see. Oh wow, I'll be darned. Okay. Yeah, it's been a long time, so I sort of hope maybe this will work. I've adjusted the electrode so it's lower, so it'll hit the metal easier. That might be what we're seeing here. Yeah, and that's at 50 amp. Let's see how much strength we have in the welds right now. Oh, nothing. It did go through though. Oh yeah, it did. But it's not doing a very good job. Now, could be that I might need to reverse polarity. I might have the wrong polarity here. I've got negative ground. I would think that would be what you'd want to do. I don't think it's a positive ground situation. But, okay, let's go back up to 80, 90. Let's go 90. 90 sounds good to me. Yeah, I like 90. We'll just hit it one more time, and then we're going to change something here. All right, here we go. Well, I don't think it went through. So let's have a look. Yeah, it didn't even stick. Wow, that is not working. Oh boy. No wonder they don't sell this tool anymore. We're gonna try 100 amps and just see if I can't get these two metals to weld together. Maybe I can't. I'm beginning to wonder now. But okay, we're ready. Huh, it's not doing a very good job, let me tell you that. I'm gonna try one more time. Yep. That's more like a rivet at that point, but let's see if that stuck together at all. Yeah, that's at 100 amps. Oh, we actually have mechanical bonding going on here. So I guess some practice. Oh yeah, that's. All right, they are. Yeah, that is definitely stuck together. That is held, and you can see the heat right through the metal, and it's got kind of a crater-looking effect, but it did the job. So wow. Okay. So here's a close-up of what we did. This is the successful spot weld right here that actually worked at 100 amps. I might be using the wrong polarity. Comment below if you can, if you know. I don't remember whether it's supposed to be a a positive or a negative ground system on the table to where you're doing the spot weld through. But this did work successfully, and it did give me a good strong spot weld. This one here was turned up to 130 amp, and of course it totally blew the material away. But this is the sort of hole you would make if you were spot welding with a MIG, because then you'd come in with the wire afterwards and just hit that and fill that in burst basically. And that would be your MIG style spot welding, I guess we could call that. The other ones didn't work. Yeah, they were kind of messy. And like I said, I think with some practice you could get pretty good at it, but it's not something I've ever done or used. That tool has just been laying around in my toolbox forever, and I finally thought you should get it out one day and just play with it with the welder and just see what it actually what can it do, Well, oddly enough, that's something I've been wanting to do for, well, ever since I've had this. We finally tried it out today. It's been with me probably probably around 30 years roughly, and I finally tried a spot weld with it just to see how it would work. It was the cheapest type of small spot welder to get into tight places at that time that Eastwood had from the Eastwood Company Automotive Restoration. So interesting place, and they have some very interesting tools. Obviously, they still sell, I believe, spot welders. Harbor Freight sells spot welders for that matter, and I looked around. Beaver does not have a spot welder, or we'd probably have that one here today. Yeah, don't have it. They don't even offer one, and I don't think they'll offer one in the future. I don't see it as being a big market because, like I say, MIG welding has kind of edged out a lot of the old spot welding conditions, but it's still it's an interesting choice for bonding two pieces of sheet metal together. And around the automotive world, like the old cars, there was so much metal in them that this was the way to go, It's an interesting thing, but we got to move on. And going to explain last week to you just a little bit. On Thursday, we had Monday's new tool day on Thursday, and the reason was the company held us up on the video for release time and actually didn't even want it released until Friday, which we normally do release on Monday and Thursdays. And so that was another interesting ball of wax that we got into. And I was really sorry about that because we had to actually take the 2 episodes and reverse the order of them in order to, compensate for the problem. It's very unfortunate. And I went through, I guess you could say I bent over backwards to help them out a little bit to try to get that tool on there. That was from Doberman, yeah, the little mini circular saw, which, it's pretty good little tool by the looks of it. Spot welding, just something I've always wanted to try. So I figured if we'd try it with you guys on camera and just see how this crazy thing functioned in its day. Current-wise, same thing. I don't know, I think there was paperwork with it in that time 30 years ago that would have explained how much current to use and whether to use negative or positive ground, and a little bit more instructions on how to use these electrodes in order to, get 2 pieces of sheet metal to come together. But interesting, all the same. Hey, thank you for watching Coffee and Tools. Please like, share, subscribe, ring the notice bell. We give away tools. We've got some cool tools coming up for giveaway. Yes. Meantime, I'm going to get out of here and just say, hey, thanks guys. We'll see you later. Over and out.